So you did it. You landed that amazing job in Japan. First off, a huge congratulations. That's incredible. You were about to start a massive adventure. But, before you start throwing everything into a suitcase.
I totally get that feeling. You get this first wave of just pure excitement, right? But then that's followed by a much, much bigger wave of, oh, wait, I actually have to move to Japan? Where do I even begin? Yeah, the logistics can feel like a lot, but that is exactly why we're here.
But hey, don't you worry. We've got you covered. Just think of this as your essential, totally stress-free roadmap. We're going to break everything down into clear, super manageable steps, starting with, well, probably the biggest hurdle of all.
All right, first things first, we have to tackle the most important piece of this whole puzzle, getting your official visa. Let's walk through this paperwork path together, step by step.
Okay, so the whole visa journey really boils down to these 4 key steps. First, your new company over in Japan is going to prepare what's called a Certificate of Eligibility, or a COE. This is a super important document. It's based on a point system that looks at your skills and qualifications. Once they have it, they'll mail it to you. Then it's your turn to make an appointment at your local Japanese embassy or consulate. And finally, you just go back to pick up your visa. See? It's a process, for sure, but it's not so bad when you know the steps.
Now, when you go to that appointment, you've got to be prepared. You'll need the completed application form, a proper ID photo, your printed COE. Don't forget to print it. And of course, your passport. But here is a super crucial tip for any of you who are dual citizens. You absolutely have to bring the passport or the ID card for your other nationality. Trust me, it's a small detail that can save you a world of hassle. Okay, visa is in hand. Now for the really fun part, booking the actual trip. We're officially moving from bureaucracy to the practical stuff, like how to travel smarter. So when you're moving your entire life across the planet, baggage allowance is everything. If you happen to be flying from Europe, I gotta tell you, China Eastern is a fantastic option. They give you 2 check-in bags, a full-size carry-on, and a small accessory like a backpack. That is a massive amount of space for your stuff without having to pay all those crazy extra fees. And here is a critical insider tip that can make a huge difference on that long flight. The default meals they serve on the plane, they're almost guaranteed to have meat. So if you have any dietary restrictions, if you're vegetarian, halal, anything, you can't just select it online. You have to physically call a number, which from Europe is a German line, to reserve your special meal ahead of time. For example, if you need a halal meal, you'll have to specifically ask for a MOLM meal. It stands for a Muslim meal. It's these little inside details and weird acronyms that are so important to know before you fly. You've landed. Awesome. But guess what? Your next challenge starts the second you step off that plane. How do you get a working phone and internet? This is your communication lifeline. Here is the pro move. Do not wait until you get there. Before you even leave your house, go online and reserve a mobile SIM card for pickup at the airport. This way, you can have a Japanese phone number and data literally minutes after you land. It is a total game changer. Now, it's really important you understand how the payment works, because it's a 2-step process. You'll pay a tiny reservation fee online when you book it, but the main cost, your actual monthly plan, you pay for that when you physically pick it up at the airport counter. So please, make sure you have a working credit card with you when you arrive. But what happens if your flight gets delayed, or you just land super late at night? It is a very real possibility that the pickup counter could be closed. And yeah, that's a major travel anxiety, but don't panic. There is a plan B. You've basically got 2 options here. The best case scenario is to just book a flight that lands during the day, since those MOBAL counters do close pretty early. But if that's not possible, your plan B is to select a different pickup location in a city nearby, like Nagoya. The only catch is you'll have to survive your first day or so without a working phone. So just plan ahead for that. And one last little tip for when you're activating that SIM card. To pay for your subscription plan, you'll need internet. But sometimes the unsecured public Wi-Fi at the airport can actually block the payment from going through. It's a weird security thing. If you run into trouble, try to find a hotel nearby and use their more secure lobby Wi-Fi. That usually does the trick. All right, we have covered a lot of ground, from all that paperwork to phone plans. So let's put it all together in one final, simple checklist to make sure you are 100% ready for takeoff. Here it is, your final check. First, make sure your company is processing that COE. Second,
Get that embassy appointment booked with all your documents ready to go. Third, book your flight, remembering that baggage tip, and make the call to reserve your meal. And finally, order that Emable SIM. And this is the most important one. Double, triple check that your passport and your COE are packed safely in your carry-on, not your checked bag.
And there you have it, a clear, actionable plan to take you from feeling totally overwhelmed to completely overjoyed. You have the knowledge, you've got the steps, so the only question left is, are you ready to start your new adventure in Japan with confidence? You've got this.